Welcome to today's webinar. Today we have Kevin Rispin, the Global IT Director at Reading International, sitting next to me, and alongside him we have Hayden Mitchell, who is an Enterprise Account Executive at Verkada. We have been dealing with Reading cinemas for many years and we understand their cloud-first strategy. They approached Compnow to have a look at the impact of security and safety in their cinemas, which would result in a reduction in hardware and ensuring every cinema would have the same technology. The chosen solution is Verkada. Kevin, let's start with who Reading cinemas are and why safety and security are so important to you.
Thanks, Gil. So Reading cinemas are one of the leading cinema exhibitors in Australia, New Zealand and in the United States. We work under the subsidiary of Reading International and we have 58 global cinemas, including 2 off-Broadway live theatres and a number of real estate assets. When it comes to safety yields, it's always top of our list. When people come to Reading cinemas, we want to make sure they have a fun, friendly but safe time. Because we sell enhanced food and beverage, both online and on-prem, there are a number of obligations we need to meet, including having a functioning CCTV system. We don't only meet these obligations, we exceed them. When people think security in general, they go to cybersecurity, but more and more, the gap between cybersecurity and physical security is closing, and I expect it to close more, and we want to be ahead of that as much as we can.
Fantastic, thanks Kevin. Hayden, can you give us a bit of an idea of what Verkada is?
Yeah, sure, Jules. Verkada is an enterprise-grade physical security on a centralised platform. So what that effectively means is bringing in all of your physical security onto one platform. So historically, you see a lot of organisations where they have, one vendor for cameras, one for access control, one for alarms. They could have different cameras at all different locations, right? Ultimately, what you really want to be doing to have an effective physical security architecture is bringing them all together because they work together. Traditional systems where you've got a lot of NVRs, sometimes multiple NVRs, right? So NVRs are a single point of failure and they can only hold so much data as well. But also when you're looking at a scenario that may actually take place, NVRs are often the first thing the thieves will run for, right? They'll go in, they'll find it. They're getting a little bit smarter and smarter, believe it or not. They'll run for it, they'll either bash it in or take it with them, and then there's no footage, right? So we're changing that when it comes to modern video security, as well as access control alarms, etc. As well, where we start to look at sophisticated AI searching, where you can find people quickly, find, save and share footage really quickly. In seconds instead of days, so you can start to get that more tangible ROI from there as well. But also access from everywhere, and it's very easy to deploy and very easy to scale as well. So once you've got one location, you're just plugging in another location very easily.
Thanks Hayden. Kevin, why does Reading use Verkada?
Well, I alluded to earlier on that we have 58 sites across Australia, New Zealand and the United States, and we have quite a small IT team spread across 6 different cities around the world. Because of that, it's very difficult for us to get boots on ground. Very, very difficult. We've got a cinema operating 23 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Typically, with these more legacy CCTV systems, they are on-prem, but as we all know, CCTV hard drives take an absolute hammering. They're read-write all day, every day, and inevitably, they're going to fail. So for us, trying to maintain 58, 59, 60 CCTV systems around the world, sometimes in very remote areas that you don't have local techs available, especially over the weekends or evenings, to replace these hard drives and maybe even source parts for them. It's incredibly difficult. So we, in 2016, took a very much cloud-first approach to IT in general. We went from a sort of 3-country approach to a 1 global team approach. And to do that, we had to simplify everything. We had to make sure every cinema was exactly the same, whether it's firewall, whether it's switching, and CCTV was one of these things. Unfortunately, back in 2016, a solution like Verkada didn't really exist. And in my opinion, the infrastructure in Australia, I'm talking network internet speeds, was only beginning to really move in the right direction to allow you to take that cloud-first strategy. So when Verkada came along a few years later, it was almost like the solution we were already waiting for, the final piece of the puzzle to get the rest of our on-prem hardware up into the cloud.
So having said that, Kevin, from an operational point of view, where have you seen the biggest gains?
Oh, look, it's a big question, but operationally, I'll start with IT. because we're only training our guys now on one platform, it's all single sign-on. It is quite easy for us to use, and most importantly, quite easy for us to then hand over to facilities, to the cinema managers, to the general business to then operate on a daily basis. It reduces our workload. It allows our team to concentrate a lot more on providing a better support experience to our users, to innovate, to bring more value to the business rather than wasting time trying to talk someone from the other side of the world through replacing a hard drive remotely or trying to get SSH access to a 15-year-old MVR.
Yeah.
Ah, fantastic. Well, traditionally cameras and security are a team effort between facilities and IT. Has the Verkada system at Reading made this an easier collaboration?
Look, it really has, because no matter what system you put in, there's some great CCTV systems out there, I get that, but because this is fully cloud-based, it's not like we have 30, 40, 50 different systems across 5 or 10 different platforms or different vendors. It truly operates like one system, i.e., as far as Reading are concerned, we have one CCTV system globally, and it has multiple nodes. But essentially, it's one URL people have to go to. It's one familiar platform. To use a common phrase, it's one pane of glass. But what it allows us to do is just standardize. So I know Hayden mentioned the word earlier. It allows us to scale very, very easily. So as we want to move away from these legacy systems up into Verkada, it's as simple as shipping some cameras, having a local electrician plug them in, and off we go.
Hayden, how does the Verkada system help with these operational management of cameras?
Yeah, good question, Yul. So, I mean, at Verkada, ultimately what we want to do is not need you accessing Verkada at all, right? We automate as much as possible. You have your customer alerts to notify you of what's wrong or what needs to be attended to. So we really only want you to be going onto Verkada if it does actually prompt you, right? It's designed that way so you can focus on other areas of your business. From an AI search side of things, it's going to save a lot of time. It's actually really exciting. We're sort of at the level now with AI where you can go really specific in what you want, such as, at site A for Reading, between 10 and 11 a.m., man with blue backpack, holding a phone, or white Tesla, Model Y, or two people talking together. So it's sort of getting at the point now where you can almost just like script it down, and it's going to find it for you efficiently. So you're going to save a lot of time. And when you start to combine that with things like access control and alarms, you can start to have context of other areas of the business. So if someone does scan in, you can see who does scan in. Again, everything's all talking to each other, and you've got everything all centralized. So it's working really efficiently, and being able to get that real effective, comprehensive reporting from all of that data as well, providing a great experience for the customer.
That's a really interesting point, Hayden. And I guess what I'd like to add in the experience we've had is that while what you just said sounds awesome, if you take the approach, which I mentioned earlier in the chat, that it's one NVR that is multiple nodes. So it's basically one system across 10 sites, that these capabilities apply across all your sites. So if you are trying to set an alert for site A, this alert also applies to site B, C, and D. So it does remove a lot of the sort of manual per site administration. It's at a high level, which then can be pushed down.
Yeah, and really great point there, Kev. I mean, when you're looking at having access to all of those cameras, even the ability to upload a photo and searching all cameras across all sites, right? Because you've got it all connected again. Yeah. You're not working on a siloed location, you're working across your whole organisation.
Exactly.
Which is really powerful.
Do you have any stories where the Verkada cameras have proved their worth since you've had them installed?
Thankfully, Yule's no major ones as of yet, but going on what Hayden alluded to earlier on in the conversation, the time to investigate even the minor ones is greatly reducing your typical MVR. So an example might be a customer comes up to one of the cinema counters and said, oh look, I think while I was at the movie, my car got a ding in the car park. You know what I mean? All we know was between 2 and 5 o'clock, and it looks like there's some yellow paint inside the car. So we can do a quick search saying, between 2 and 5, on this camera, do we see a yellow car? And we can see the little ding there. That's fantastic. It allows us to, I guess, capture that in a timely manner. And the most important part of that, it's not actually the IT team that's doing that. It's the cinema manager or the facilities team or the property manager in our shopping centres, etc.
Fantastic. Kevin, Hayden, thanks for joining us today, and thank you for sharing with us how Verkada has helped Reading cinemas get to where they are today and where the future vision is. And for the rest of you, Compnow provides IT custom built for your needs. If you would like to know more about what we spoke about today, please get in touch with your Compnow account manager or email us at info@compnow.com.au. Thank you.